Good afternoon. Estimation of prevalence of specific learning disabilities among middle school students of government schools in Chennai city of South India. I declare that I have no known competing financial interests that would affect the study. Specific learning disability is a type of neurodevelopmental disorder that impedes the ability to learn or use specific academic skills. No other disabling condition affects so many people and yet has such a low public profile like learning disability. My aim is to determine the prevalence rate of various types of SLD among middle school students in Chennai city, to determine the difference in the prevalence rate of SLD, if any, between gender and age of such students, to find out relationship between various types of SLD among middle school students. Based on the review of literature, the following hypotheses were developed. Various types of learning disabilities would not be associated with each other. Boys and girls would not differ significantly in various SLDs. Students of different ages would not differ significantly in various SLDs. We got clearance from the Institutional Ethics Committee. It was a cross-sectional survey using ex post factor design. Totally 344 students were studied over a period of 1 year. Students with IQ average, above average, and intelligence superior were included. Those with defective and below average IQ, those with intellectual disability and sensory deficits, those with psychiatric conditions were excluded from the study. We used purposive random sampling. In our study, we used Niemann's index, Rabin's progressive matrices, and Kusami scale. Consent and assent were taken from the participating students, and those with intellectually superior, average, and above average IQ were administered part of Niemann's index. Niemann's index is widely used for assessing SLD in India. It has two levels. Level 1 is for children between 5 to 7 years. Level 2 is for 8 to 12 years. The tests in level 2 include number cancellation, reading and comprehension, spelling test, and arithmetic test. We use standard consent forms, assent forms for our study. Using standard sample size estimation formula, we arrived at a required sample size of 138 children. Excluding those with defective IQ, sample size in our study was 144. We used SPSS 19 and MedCalc, and we used descriptive statistics, ANOVA t-test, and Pearson moment correlation in our study. We found that most of the study population were children in the age group of 9 years and 10 years. Majority were girls. Most of them came from poor socioeconomic status, and most of the families were small nuclear families. Most of them were firstborn, and when analyzing the prevalence of SLD, we found that reading dyslexia was the commonest prevalence of 16.6%, followed by spelling dyslexia with a prevalence of 13.8%. Attention and memory deficits were noted in 10.4% of the study population. Dyscalculia occurred in 2%, dysgraphia in 7%. There was a higher prevalence of all learning disability among boys when compared to girls. Those in the age group of 11 years had a higher prevalence of dyslexia and dysgraphia. 12-year children had dyscalculia and attention deficits. The second-born children had higher prevalence of spelling dyslexia, dyscalculia, and memory deficit. The fourth-born in the family had higher prevalence of reading dyslexia, dysgraphia, and attention deficits. Those with poor IQ had a higher prevalence of SLDs. We found that there was a significant correlation with memory deficits and spelling and reading dyslexia. So the null hypothesis that various types of learning disabilities would not be related to each other was rejected. We again noticed a significant increase in reading dyslexia and dysgraphia among boys compared to girls. The null hypothesis too that boys and girls would not differ significantly with respect to SLD was rejected. Null hypothesis 3 that students of different ages would not differ significantly in respect to SLD was also rejected because there was a significant difference in memory deficits, spelling dyslexia. We did not find any difference between SLDs with respect to order of birth. Prevalence of reading dyslexia was 16%, spelling dyslexia was 13%, dysgraphia was 7%, dyscalculia was 2%, memory deficit was 10.4%, attention deficit was 10.4%. Dyslexia had a significant correlation with memory deficits. Significant gender difference was noted among the various SLDs. And again, there was significant difference in the SLDs in various age groups. The study was limited to a sample from a single city. Majority were from lower socioeconomic status, and we studied only standard 5, 6, and 7. The study provides an insight that would help teachers to understand the causes of poor scholastic performance. It will create awareness among parents and teachers, and it will help to understand the need for developing an inclusive school curriculum for such children. Future research should be done to assess the prevalence of SLD. It should be inclusive of children from different modes of education. The study should be also done in rural setting to get a more holistic picture. Thank you for your kind attention.